Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the North East Non-League Show, sponsored by DJ Private Hire, Gateway Accountancy Services Limited, Elite Goalkeeper Academy, and Motivate. And tonight is our episode 71, which is our Esh winning special with the Esh manager, Bobby Coltman. Bobby, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having us on. It's great to be here.
Excellent. Yeah, I think it's been nice over the last couple of days, actually, on social media. I think there's someone on Twitter and a couple on Facebook from Northern League managers kind of saying they're really glad how it's going at Esh and the praise that you deserve for the job that you're doing there as well. I think it's always nice to hear that from other managers. A couple in Division 1 mentioned as well. It's always nice to get the name out, isn't it?
Yeah, you do. Well, you sometimes wonder, do people... I always feel like it's not been the easiest journey we've been on since we've come to the club. So you don't know if people appreciate that we've had hard times as well. But I suppose that seems to be the theme there when people are acknowledging we've been on a bit of a journey as well, which is it's always nice. But obviously it's not just about me either. I've got loads of good people at the club helping us as well.
Yeah.
I've got 2 cracking coaches who work with the players every week, and then there's a bit of a team of us as well who they're not so hands-on with the players, but do a lot of research for me and look at a lot of bits and pieces that we need to kind of be aware of. So it's nice to get a bit of credit, but it's also I'm just the kind of the front face for a really hard-working team that's supporting the lads. So it's all good.
That's really good. But I'm just going to be chatting about the end of last season, building to this season, also the amazing run on at the moment as well. But starting building up onto this season, last season finishing 13th, finishing a few points just off the top 10. And I think a lot of people, as mentioned, obviously the budgets, money issues, kind of put a squad together. I mean, what was your aims kind of going into the season this year?
This year we finished the season really well last year. It wasn't like I say, it wasn't all easy from the early stages of the season. We finished as of November. Really, we went on a really good run. So the only thing we're looking at really is progress. Can we finish with more points, or can we finish in a higher position? And that was it really. If we could keep the run going that we put together from November last year over a bit of a longer period of time, just saying where that will get us, and trying to keep the squad together really. But we had a bit of a changeover, a bit of turbulence maybe during pre-season, which is kind of shown, I suppose, in like in the results as well at the start of the year. But we feel like we're kind of back on board and back on the front foot at the minute.
Oh, going really well. As a manager, you see the likes of Blythe, obviously Blue Star, Horton, etc., bringing these certain type of players at the start of the season. I mean, being in the same division, sometimes it's kind of a splitting division, who's got the money, who's kind of in the middle, who's down there. But as a manager, how frustrating when you're seeing the likes of, obviously, like Blythe bringing players in from 2 or 3 divisions above the Northern League. It must be frustrating for yourself.
I wouldn't say it's frustrating, because we were looking at that with, we didn't feel like we were going to be really going head to head with Blythe and Blue Star in the division. Obviously, we want to be pushing up the top end if we can. We knew it wasn't going to be like I suppose they weren't going to be like the main competitors for us this year. And it's also it's an exciting opportunity for the players. Really, we've got a lot of young players at the club, and they'll be wanting to kind of keep stepping forward over the next few years and get to where those players have played in the past. So it's a nice challenge and opportunity for them. And so you can lay that out there and explain the situation, and you hope that they kind of take the bull by the horns and go for it in those games, and we'll just see where we come out with at the end of the 90 minutes really. I suppose the biggest surprise was I heard a few bits and pieces about budgets to like mid-table to lower teams as well being quite high, and you don't know what to believe, and you don't know what's actually going on out there. But that was more of a concern, if I'm honest, during the pre-season part. But I would say the one thing that we've got at Esh, like chairman's, been at the club he's run the club for over 40 years in the Northern League. He's very experienced. There's no turbulence. Like, we know our the budget for the season. So there's you don't really hear anything like that coming out of Esh where money's being chopped here or something's being changed and there's a bit of trouble all of a sudden. It is what it is for the year, and they're always sorting out the next season really during the current season. So it's not a turbulent club, which is good. And if you look at like the gates in the league, the sponsorships, you think where does it all come from really when you're averaging between 70 and 100 people a game at home? You know, you don't want the club to ever be in a spot of trouble or a spot of bother financially.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
you know, the longevity of the club's really important. It's been in the league for 4 years. That's great, and it's, I suppose, our job to kind of maintain that. And that's, you know, part of that is not spending above your means. But like, one thing you can't buy as well is a culture. And what I'd like to think is, over the last couple of years, with the support of the lads around us, we've managed to grow quite a positive culture like in the changing room and amongst the lads. And I suppose that was our biggest challenge, because I think that when we first came in, fourth manager of the season, lots of players had been signed on. You could imagine there wasn't maybe a real identity or feeling to what was going on at the time. But we've managed to kind of build that, and we've got to nurture that and keep trying to grow it. But you can't just chuck money in and say this is our culture and this is our mentality. It's got to be something you've got to like kind of look after over a longer period of time. And we've got something at the minute that appears to be working, so we've just got to kind of focus on what we can control and work with that. So that's where we're at, really. We knew that at the start of the season as well. That was no surprise.
No, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like you say, I think sometimes you just get that group together, and the players that wasn't in training, they're chatting in the group messages and stuff like that, and getting that core group together. It's sometimes better than just going and getting the money in, where people are sometimes just literally just picking up a wage and just enjoying doing that rather than playing football. I think it's more better to get that squad together, and it just makes it so much better, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We are really lucky at the group of lads. We've got the genuine in what they want to do with like as a group and for the club, and the honest, hard working lads, really. And I think if you start moving away from that a little bit, it can disrupt things as well.
Yeah.
Keep remembering what we've got to really positive, and we've got to be very careful in terms of what we do to add to that. We've got to bring the right characters in, and I'll be honest, at the start of last season, I feel like we made a lot of mistakes in terms of recruitment, and we had to go at trying this and trying that, and it just didn't work. And it got to a point where we stripped it back and had a chat as a management team and said, you know, what did we really want to do when we first came in, and we weren't really achieving that. And once we realised that and just stuck with our guns about what we wanted to do in terms of what type of player and what type of squad we've got and the opportunities we wanted to give people, it all started to like click into place, really. So it's been a positive. It's a good learning experience for me, really, and the other lads who are part of the management team, to remember that those are the things that we really need to focus on, as you know, when we're looking at maybe making a little change here or there.
100%. And on this season as well, the first 5 games, I think it was a tough start, wasn't it? Like, I mean, Chester Street, Town, East and Blue Star, Right and Horton all doing well at the moment as well. And some defeats in there. Were you worried after them 5 games, or like you say, you couldn't have got any tougher 5 games, to be honest, could you?
Well, yeah, I can remember saying Charlie again, like, we haven't got an easy start here, but I think a couple of games got called off as well.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't help, because I'm not saying we would have definitely won those games, but a bit basically to try and map where we're at, not to panic too much. Try and break the season into 8, like 5 8s.
Right.
And obviously we've got a couple extra this year, but I try and track where we're at per kind of 8 games. But when I mapped that out at the start of the season, I knew that first day, I make a little bit of a forecast of where I expect us to be after the 8th. And obviously it never really works out exactly how you think it's going to be, but give or take, you're always a couple of points above or below. So I didn't think it was going to be a really profitable part of the season for us. But that being said, it doesn't mean that we can just kind of go out there and chuck those games away.
Yeah.
But we had a situation really, like, we didn't panic, because we knew where we were at, and we knew that those first 5 weren't key to us achieving the goals for the season. But I also had a few key players away as well, holidays, weddings. And the one thing I thought about the summer, even though we were really pleased with kind of keeping hold of some key players from last season, we brought in we still got them at the squad at the minute, some really talented young players who have added to what we had last year as well. But when we had these couple of key players missing, the lack of depth showed, and I had a feeling about that during pre-season period. And if you go back to the budget a little bit and things like that, we're not going to offer loads of players more than what we can pay, if you like, or what we can give out. So that was maybe part of that as well, but that's not an excuse. It's just that we had to accept missing key players against good teams. It was always going to be difficult. So it wasn't a massive panic. I can still remember after the Horden game, I think that was the 5th one of those, having a chat with the lads, and we had quite a lot of young lads in the squad that day, and just telling them that we still had a lot of belief in where we were going to go, and that would improve, which, luckily, I think the way I think the next game was Jarrah, and
yeah,
kind of started to pick up from there. So thankfully, we managed to get a result in that game.
Like you say, sometimes it doesn't matter how it comes, doesn't it? It could be a scrappy last-minute winner, but like you say, the first win did come at Jarrah 2-1, and it's just nice getting that first win and get the confidence going and the change room going again, isn't it?
Yeah, it was huge for us, and to be fair, I think anyone who was watching that game, especially from a Jarrah point of view, will be scratching their head at the end, thinking, how didn't they take anything out of it? They absolutely chucked everything out of the second half, but I think that there was loads of positives there, because we could see like the work ethic and the determination in our players on the pitch. And yeah, I think we were probably a little bit lucky on the day as well. We missed a couple of good chances towards the end, but there was a lot of relief and a lot of, we got a lot of belief as well from the lads that we can start moving forward from that point. So that was a huge moment for us. And the feeling in the change room afterwards was great. But like I say, you could just see that the shift that the lads put in for that 90, that was like a good sign really moving forward, because you've got to have a team that's going to work hard and chuck everything at it in this league. And we could kind of see that. We could see that on the day, even though the performance maybe didn't quite match the work rate.
Yeah, and I think the rest of 2023, like you say, a couple of wins in September, October, unbeaten in the league as well. You could see and feel the confidence build up, and I can imagine that's the same for yourself after these games. You'll see the confidence in the changing rooms, but also on the pitch. Could you feel things starting to build up leading into the new year?
Yeah, well, obviously, like I said, we've got a couple of players back as well from holidays and stuff like that. So that helped. Squad settled down a bit in terms of, I think, you have quite a turbulent half. I always find pre-season. I don't know if many managers enjoy it in our league, but it's so turbulent, and people saying one thing, and then the next day you find something else is going on. But that even carries into the first few weeks of the season, because lads have tried to have a look here and there and try something new that seems exciting at first, and then they might change their mind a few weeks in. So it still took a few weeks for our squad and kind of a 16 to settle. When it did, you could see the results improving. It's still in that period, though. There's some really frustrating moments for us. I think Newcastle Uni away, 1-1. I think we finished, but we had a last minute penalty. We'll keep reminding us about that one, but to miss that, and that was 2 points, missed, where we could have been. It could have been a lot more positive. I thought we were really good. Billy Town away, drew 1-1 in that game. Thought we were probably worth a win, but I just said there, we're maybe a little bit lucky against Darrell, so you can't look at all the games and say, well, we should have had these points and should have these points, because it probably does balance out over the season. But we knew that we wanted something that was moving forward. I think the biggest frustration really was there was quite a big break for us towards the end of December, where we didn't play much football, and we came back a little bit slow out the traps, and we felt like that break didn't really help, because we were moving forward and quite happy where we were at. But a couple of weeks off, and lads aren't quite there in terms of sharpness, and I think we had a bit of a wake-up call at the start of January. Might have been, I can't remember who it was, maybe Redcar or Wrighton, I'm not sure. It must have been Redcar, start of January. Redcar turned us over quite heavily at home, which is not good for us, really. We've quite been good at home. It's been important as well to be like that. So there's always, like I say, you can be positive, but you can't be complacent, because there's always that game around the corner where every week's difficult in this league. So
I think that leads on to February nicely as well. But before we do that, I just want to say a massive thank you everyone that's watching. As always, please, like you say, follow Ashwin, get across to Facebook, get across to Twitter, like, follow, do as much as you can. Like you say, we're always trying to promote as a club as much as we can, but we need your support as well. So get across and help us do that by liking and following the pages as well. Also hit the subscribe button down below to help us grow on the channel as well. Any comments, get them in as well. We'll get them read out. And on to February, and like you said, February unbeaten, and also the manager of the month in our Facebook group as well. I know we were down the hub last week. We talked to the FC Hartlepool manager, and he was the manager of the month a couple of months ago. And I said, I'm going to have to start getting some little trophies, so I can get them handed out to you. Like, put them in your cabinets. But I think it's nice as well with the February, touching on it in a moment. But obviously the manager of the month in the group as well, and it's so nice now when we're putting these names forward every month. Everyone's getting involved. It's over 1,000, 2,000 votes every month now, and the clubs are sharing it. People's friends and families are sharing it. It's nice to get your votes out there, isn't it? Really.
Oh yeah, well, like obviously interest in the clubs and in the league as well. It's great as well.
Yeah.
So it just increases the profile of what's going on out there and makes people aware, because it could easily go under the radar as well. Like at a club like Ashwin, that we've had a month like what we had. So yeah, it's just, well, thanks for all the work you do on that and the coverage you give the league. Really, it's great. We're always looking at highlights or picking up little bits of information from you as well, which is good, handy.
There's a few managers said that. I've always got the pen and paper writing there what we're saying. So be careful, anyone might be watching tonight. But February itself, I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. The 5 games, and as a lot of managers said, you mentioned they split up into 8 games. I know managers sometimes say game by game, month by month, but like you say, you're breaking into 8 packs throughout the season, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. But the problem is that I map that out from the start of the season, and with the way fixtures go. Yeah, it gets a bit messy. So I kind of locked in my periods from the start of the year, because that's where I put my forecast in as well. So there was a couple of games in that February period that I don't think were going to be there at the start of the year, but we did actually have like the third and the fourth 8 games has been really key in terms of areas where we thought we were going to pick up a lot of points, or wanted to pick up a lot of points, but that didn't include playing Blythe and Horden, I don't think, at the time. So there was some really kind of big results there for us. We played, I was saying, we played Blue Star, as well in January, and I thought we were really good in that game. I can remember listening to their gaffer saying, how disappointed he was with their lads, but I thought we gave them we just gave them a lot of problems in terms of not being able to break us down. And to be fair, we missed quite a few good opportunities on the counter in that fixture. And I thought it was one of them where we were delighted with the performance, but the lads were frustrated after the game that they hadn't won away against Blue Star. So that was a promising sign. And then, you've got Horden at home. It's tough. Like, we've always struggled against them. They've been brilliant. I was talking to their gaffer after that game, saying like what a great job they've done there for the last, I think, 3 seasons really on the bounce. And we really delighted with that. But again, a bit of luck. Maybe they've missed a couple of good chances that they probably expect to take as well. But you take that momentum and just keep moving forward. Like, it's the same with like I suppose a Uni game. A lot of momentum there at home. Great side, Uni. I watched them play against West early in the season in the Challenge Cup, and I was really impressed with them. So we thought that was going to be a really tough game, and like Washington and Brandon still made life really difficult for us. So we didn't really see, I wouldn't say we saw the run coming or anything like that, and to expect to win 5 games in our league is not a normal thing for us. And we think that, we always say anyone can beat anyone in the league on the day.
Yeah.
Reason, probably this season there might be a couple of exceptions to that, but in the pack that we're in, we always feel like we've got an opportunity. But to go 5 on the bounce was really good. Lads worked really hard for it, and it paid off big time really. So pushed us right up into a much more positive position as well. Kind of accelerated, like give us a bit of a jump up the league, because I go back to like November-ish time. We used to joke about that. We thought we kept winning, or we're getting good results, and we seemed to be 13th for weeks, even when we were doing well. They used to update the table in the bar food. Oh no, we're still 13th. So nice to finally that run's given us a bit of a boost and kind of broke us up, pushed us up a bit higher in the league. So that was rewarding as well.
Not really good. I mean, the wins that we're on about, and NENLS that's watching on as well, just to go through them. The Horden beat them 2-0, Brandon 3-2, Washi 2-0, Blythe 2-1, and the Uni 2-0. Let you say 5 games, 5 wins. Out of them ones, what was your most pleasing performance, would you say?
I think, obviously, Blythe away, we turned up and we said the same thing. Really, we didn't expect to go then take a beating or a hiding. I had a chat in the change room and said, look, we know that these are really strong here, but we also know that if we're at it and we do the right things, we can cause an upset. But it's funny because I came out of the change room. I said to I was chatting to Gary and Shane. I was saying I felt like the lads were a bit flat, warm up, change room. We've got quite quiet bunch as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we started the game a bit slow as well, but grew into it. But I thought the second half we played some really good stuff on the counter again. We looked like we had a couple of new faces in the side as well who gave us a different dimension to the team. We were playing I thought we moved the ball a bit around well through the middle of the park, played through the thirds a little bit at times. So it wasn't like that win against Jarrah for us where we felt like we were hanging on. We felt like we'd done really well and kind of earned it. Maybe unlucky not pinching of a goal as well if you're getting greedy. So that was a really pleasing moment there for us. And I talk about the squad depth at the start of the season. I think we did have a couple of lads missing that day as well, and we still managed to go out and do that. So that was a reassuring thing there for me as well. We're kind of starting to say that the squad's almost strong, and we've got a bit of slack in terms of what's happening to people. If people are picking up suspensions, injuries, unavailability, we could still go out there and kind of get a job done. So massive result. It's really, really pleasing to see the lads play so well as well for it.
No, really good. In March as well, like you say, so far. I mean, as always, the weather's winning again, and it's just been an absolute nightmare this season for some teams. I mean, it's great for myself at the moment. The hub just around the corner. It's a game nearly every night. I'm trying to get as many shifts as I can so I can go around and watch them. I think I'm down on Friday night, hope next Tuesday night. Washi's there as well. It's brilliant. With 2 games so far in March, the 2-2 against Billytown, Saturday gone, the 1-1 against Wrecker. So like you say, the unbeaten run still continues. What was your thoughts on them both games?
We got excited obviously after the 5, especially beating Uni. We thought we started really looking up at those playoff spots, and it's not good. Like with it only being the top 5, I think it's going to be really, really difficult. I think Easton have been kind of hiding in that league there a little bit because they've been behind on games, and they've obviously got a really strong side together this year. So we didn't say that we were expecting to get there, but it would be nice to see how close we can push it over the season. But I did say these 2 games are going to be vital, really, because you look at them on paper, you think hopefully it's somewhere we can go and pick up a few points. But I kind of mentioned it earlier, it's not an easy game in the league. I felt like I was really disappointed with us on Saturday, if I'm honest. We got a bit distracted by a few things during the game, and I think emotions got the better of us. And a last minute equaliser felt good at the time, but when you look back at the performance and how the game went, I was a little bit frustrated because I felt like maybe if we'd been a bit more focused and a bit more controlled in what we're doing, we could have improved on that. And then it was kind of the complete opposite on Monday. I thought the performance was brilliant. So we put all that to bed by being really controlled. We were good on the ball. Unit looked great, and then we fell asleep basically on the last minute, and they've scored on the last minute equaliser. So it felt like a massive, the lads really covered about that on Monday. I did say to them, if we're not going to win, I'd rather win playing the way we played on the Monday night than the Saturday, because the Saturday really wasn't enjoyable. I didn't think it put us in a good light, while the performance was good on Monday. But that being said, it's points dropped, and it's great. 7 games undefeated. It's fantastic. But we're gonna, if the lads really want to keep pushing and seeing how far they can take this, really we need to keep winning. We've got to put a little bit of another run together again. So it's a challenge. It won't be easy, but it's something that's at least we've got a bit of focus, and we've still got something to look forward to over the next 10 games, and we'll see where we come out at. But so it's a bit of a funny one, and it sounds like we're being a bit negative after, but it's because of how hard they've worked and put themselves in such a brilliant position. You get a bit excited and you want to keep pushing forward, and hopefully we've got a couple of players coming back in. We've got had lads out injured, someone's been away on holiday and bits and pieces like that. So once we get kind of everyone back together for those last 10, like I said, the squad's really strong at the minute. Might be able to go and make it interesting again. See how much further we can take it.
No, I think it's good to hear that, because I think sometimes I've been in cheering rooms where at the start of the season or mid-season, think, well, we'll just try and finish mid-table if you try and survive and stuff like that. And sometimes when that message gets put across, you automatically get your mind frame in that way. You're sitting here now and some of your players might be watching saying, right, we're going to push on now, hopefully even challenge. You never know for the playoffs if the wins keep coming. And I think it's nice to hear that from a manager. That's what you want to hear, don't you? So that's really good, and hopefully that's what will happen as well. A couple of comments coming in there from Paul. Says, Bobby, all the place that you could have sat in an expensive kitchen. You position yourself right above the background with the halo. But he's also saying top gaffer as well, and top mace. Loves the game, and our passion before talking about football, big future ahead in the Northern League as well. So thanks to them, Paul. Really appreciate the comments coming in. But going forward, I mean, we just kind of touched on there as well. I mean, with the rest of the season that's left now, I think most teams, roughly about 10, 11 games left now, it's just all about winning as many games you can and pushing on now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you look at the fixtures, if we try to map it out and look at what everyone had going on, there's so many teams, really. If you look, we could still have a decent season. You know, there's teams below, you think about Jarrow and people like that, got that many games in hand. They could come out of nowhere and really push up the table, and we've got quality squad together there. Every time I've seen them this season, I've been really impressed with them. So there's absolutely no letting up for us, because we want to finish as high as we can. First of all, if we can put a good run again together again, we're playing a lot of teams around us as well. So there's opportunities there to keep pushing forward, but it's easy saying we want to keep winning. It's not hard, it's not easy doing it. And to be fair, we still haven't hit our target. Really, is what we set from the start of the season. When I said progress, we're equal with the points that we finished on last year right at the minute. So we want to not just be 1 point better than that as well. It wasn't, when I'm saying better, it's not by scraping another draw in the next 10. We really want to improve on it. And I think, like, again, 13's probably going to finish. We finished 13th last year on 50 points, but I think 13th this year will finish on more than 50 points as well. So to get that league position right and try and, you know, be top half plus, and if things go right and we can go a bit further and see how high we can climb, that would be great. But it's all down to the lads, really, and we've got, like I said, we've got a young side who are quite ambitious and people who want to kind of go out there and start making a name for themselves in the leagues and stuff like that. So every week's an opportunity for them to go and make a statement, really, and show what's going on at the club, and, you know, take some responsibility that they're a big part of that as well. So it's an exciting time. It'll be busy, obviously, with like the backlog of fixtures, and the weather isn't improving, so I don't know what's gonna, you know, it could get worse, couldn't it? But fingers crossed we can stick to around 2 games a week and get a bit of a push going on.
Yeah, I mean, I've just seen, I think it was in the Bishop chat, I think it was the Steve, the chairman, putting in there saying, I don't think they want us to win the Northern League. I think they're getting the game Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, one week. It's absolutely crazy, man.
Yeah, but they won't have lads playing on a Sunday either, probably. What we do as well. So, like, the Sunday leagues are the same. They haven't played much football, so it's going to be a tough period for the lads.
Definitely. Evening, Ian, thank you very much. Very good evening, everyone watching. Hope you're all well. Yeah, hope you're well, Ian. Like you say, a great win for Darlin last night against Blythe. Great escape. It was definitely on the minute. Steve Watson, 5 wins out of 7. Like you say, the new management bounce is definitely working there. And fingers crossed both sides stay up in that league as well. But back to the club itself, Bobby, I mean, 100, like, most of the time we've seen a couple of games 100 plus, but most, like you say, between the 50, 80 fans. How important is it now to try, and obviously the club playing well, to try and get that message out and getting more players in, sponsors, volunteers for the great club itself?
Yeah, well, it's massive, isn't it? The clubs at this level need as much support as they can, and we're really lucky that we do have a fantastic chairman who, has run that club for 40 years really well, and like I said earlier, keeps it in good nick and safe. But if you look at good sponsors as well, you've got Windows Plus Bathrooms there who've supported us for a long time now. Usher Car Sales have come in this year and done the kits, but the support off the pitch is really important. We talk about the gates. If we can get more people in, a ticket and a pint every week makes a big difference over the season. Yeah. But the other side of it, when we got that last minute goal on Saturday against Billy Town, there's we've got quite a young following at the minute who come to a lot of games, and they were running down the bank up the top of the down, and I don't know if they ended out on the pitch or not at one point. Stuff like that as well, where you're starting to feel like the local community are there and getting swept away by it a little bit is really good, and players love it, and everyone's having a bit of a giggle about it in the bar afterwards. All the old fellas it's a nice moment for everyone. So we want a bit more of that, and hopefully what we've done recently is going to get a bit of interest in the club again, and we can get a few more faces down, and even if it's just to come in and watch. But support's a massive thing. And like you say, when we talk about budgets and stuff like that, the main thing is getting a bit of interest in, getting feet through the gate, and starting to kind of build a club up that way would be brilliant.
Yeah, and it's nice, like you say, the people that has been supporting the last decade and stuff, like you see, the success that we're having now in Hawthorne Newfoundland. I mean, I know Gary O'Connor very well, and like you say, it was nice to see them people that's been along for years now, seeing the team play so well, and it's nice to give some back to them as well, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, well, I like to say Charlie Mine is seen it all. I think they've been up in the first division, and I think they've had a fun time with it as well in the past. But
yeah,
I think we've got people. We've swung it around a little bit when we took over. It was a bad year for the club, and 4 managers and a lot of players in and out, and it just didn't. I suppose it probably didn't feel like much of a club because of the turbulence and stuff like that. So it's really nice just to get a bit of a community feel back to it on the pitch, and you can see that starting to affect off the pitch as well. We've got there's a few people who come down quite regularly now and watch the games, and if that can build, that'd be great. And people like Gary and Dave and the rest of the committee, really, Ash, they're absolutely priceless in terms of what they do. And if it wasn't for people like that, the league just wouldn't run as it does. And we've got to remember, one of the things I really love about Ashwinning is the ground. It's been there 40 years. It's but the club's ground, it's been kind of put together by Charlie over a period of time, but everything you see there is run and maintained by basically a group of volunteers, and there's no hiring of facilities or of pitches or anything like that, and it's really hard work keeping the pitch right. The season's been it takes hours and hours of work, maintaining the ground, making sure everything's still working. It's hard. So the more support, the more interest you can get in the club, the better, because you've got a chance to keep moving forward then.
No, 100%. Like I say, there's still loads watching now, and I always say, please get across to social media, because that is massive at the moment. Like you say, if you just like one of those, if they put a certain message on there, just share a tweet and stuff like that. It's amazing how many people then might see that tweet or that extra share that you put out there, and someone else might say, oh, there's a game on there I'm going to pop down. Just that one game could just turn to a fan coming back game after game after game. So please get across and like and follow and everything that you can to help Ashwin as well. But we know, I just want to say a massive thank you for coming on the show tonight. Like you say, we wish you the very best of luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully, back on You Never Know talking playoffs, because I really can't wait for them playoffs to the end of the season. I think I'm more excited to see the playoffs around who's going to win Division 1, Division 2. I think the playoffs in both divisions, it's going to be even better than last season, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's bound up. Well, I think, was it both of them were 2-2 draws last year in Division 2?
As well.
So, so it'd be really interesting. It looks like there's some really strong sides up there as well at the minute, and there's a bit of a pack hunting them down who would, in good foot. You look at Sinners, the form they've been in for a long time. There could be something happens over the next few weeks that people aren't expecting, and it'll be, hopefully we're part of it. But if not, we'll have a big say in what's going on if you look at our fixtures. So, we'll see what the rest of the season brings. Be good.
Excellent. Brilliant. But no, again, everyone that's been watching as well, really appreciate the support as always. As well, back again tomorrow night with the FC Hartlepool. Mark Lyons, coach, coming on as well to talk about the club and their first year in the Northern League as well. So please stay tuned tomorrow night for that one. But again, Bobby, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the season as well.
Cheers, thanks for having us on.